Hello and welcome to Library Drawing Party. Today we're going to be drawing this beautiful lily. To get started, we're going to work with our colored pencils first to work on the lily itself. So we're going to start with orange for the flower pistils. Or the center of the flower. Then we're going to take some yellow and blend it down into the rest of the flower. And we're going to take our pink and we're going to draw oval shapes with points for the petals. They're going to be all different sizes. Once you have your lily outlined, then we can add more pink shadows to each of the petals. We can take our yellow and add some yellow to the tips of the petals. You can also add a bit of green towards the outer petals. Okay, once you're happy with your lily, then we can add a stem. The stem is going to go straight into the water, so we don't need to see all of it, but we do want to start to get that defined. Now we're going to stop here and we're going to work on our watercolors. So we're going to take our fan brush, or you can use your regular paintbrush. I'm just excited about using my fan brush because then I can get this circular lily pad very easily. So I'm going to be using light green. If you don't have light green in your watercolor set, you can combine green and yellow and use a lot of water. Keep it nice and light because we want to have the contrast between the lilies and the water. The water is going to be nice and deep, this dark, vibrant color. And since we're going to be using dark colors for our water, we can paint where the water will go. You don't have to worry about that just yet. I'm going to use my dry brush to add in some texture, because even though the lily pads seem solid, they do have some texture in them. And even add a little dark green. I'm going to do a lily pad to the side. And one in the corner. As my brush dries out, I'm adding in more texture. So it'll be a nice contrast to the smoothness of the water. Now the water has a few different shades. There's light blue, purple, black, and even some green mixed throughout. So we can add a light blue coat underneath. Which will help when we're trying to blend later on. But this is why we did our lily first, so that we could use the white of the paper in contrast to all of these bright, vibrant colors that we're going to be using. Okay, once you have your watercolor base coat complete, then you can let it dry. Overnight is best. An hour or two will work out well. You can always use a hair dryer to dry it quickly. So we'll see you soon. Welcome back to Library Drawing Party. Now we're going to be working on the water and the rest of the lily pads. To get started, let's work on the lily pads first. So we're going to take our light green and we're going to use it to add in what are water droplets. Now you might be wondering why we're using light green for the water droplets instead of blue. That's because the water is going to be translucent, so you're going to see the lily pad through the water, but the color of the lily pad changes because you're seeing it through water. So we're going to use the light green first to help show that change, and then we'll add a little bit of blue in just to help clarify that we're looking at water. Okay, I put my droplets in. Let's take the light blue and just give it a little smidge of blue. Then let's take our purple and let's start creating the like pizza pie cut of the lily pad. That comes almost to the center water droplet. And then we can just go ahead and fill that in. And then we have another one down here. This one is a little bit more curved. We can still go ahead and fill that in. And this top lily pad, you can't really see this opening. We can just define the edge a bit more. And let's take our light green and let's add even more texture in by adding some curlicues. This will help keep the lily pad from looking flat. And let's draw some lines towards the center. Now let's work on the water. So we have some light blue patches over here. And we have a stem of a lily peeking through. And it's going to be light blue around the stem. Just adding in a bit of yellow. Which will be a nice contrast to purple. So you can go ahead and add a little bit of purple in now. We can start blending the purple into a light blue. It's almost like bubbles. So let's take our light blue and work over here. There's a lot of light blue along the edge of the lily pad. And then there's another patch here. We can add the light blue in between petals of our lily too if we didn't get it completely with our watercolor. Let's add in some more blue highlights here and over here. And around the lily pads on this side. And on this side. And then we have a mix of colors here, but it's mostly light blue, so let's go ahead and emphasize the light blue. And as you can see, this helps create movement for the eye of the viewer. Let's take our purple and add in some bubbles or some small circles. And let's add in some purple highlights up here. And this mixes in with the blue. And we have some purple over here. Some purple this way. Once you have an idea of where you want your highlights to be, then we can use the purple to start darkening up the water. And we can do some horizontal lines to create a peaceful atmosphere. Okay, next we'll take our black and we'll start blending it. We want this to be pretty smooth. What's good about the watercolor base is that as we're blending it now, when some of the paper shows through, it's showing a blue color instead of white, which will help keep that natural water look that we're going for. You can have the water going in different directions too. You might want to do some sideways lines. So water will be moving and not necessarily staying in the same direction, even on a peaceful day. We want to take our light green and show the stem going through the water of the lily. And then there's one right next to it. And then we have one here. Let's take our light blue and use it to blend purple and the black together. For a nice smooth contrast to our textured lily pads. Add in a bit more black. You can use the side of your pencil for this. And dark colors will help bring out that lily too. And finally, let's take our dark green let's add a bit of shading in to our lily pads. You could add in some darker drops of water. Perhaps there's holes in the lily pad that you can see through to the water. And there you have it. That's our lily. Thank you for joining us in Library Drawing Party. We have library drawing parties every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We hope to see you again, and keep being creative.